Everybody, this is Mr. Hardcore Mode here, where nothing is easy. Warriors and witches, how y'all doing? And Happy New Year. We are about to reach 2026 here real soon, and what's going to happen on New Year's Eve is I'm going to have a stream with y'all, and we'll do a watch along with the last episode of Stranger Things, the very last one of the Duffer Brothers. I believe that's their name. But I've watched Stranger Things for a while now. This last season that just came out like literally a month ago, and I was waiting for all the episodes, but apparently they didn't give all the episodes. They're pretty much nickel and diming you, kind of like when you try to what's the word, it's kind of like when you win the lottery, but the IRS doesn't want to give you all the fucking money in one go. You gotta wait a while, you know. So they just give you it in small increments. And so let's start off with the first wave of episodes of Stranger Things Season 5, which are the first 4 episodes of Season 5. I was really hoping that they would nail it back home with Stranger Things, but I knew something was going to happen. I knew we were gonna get a Game of Thrones ending like bullshit with this shit, and it's slowly going to start happening. Let's start it off with the first episode of season 5. The first episode starts off with Will sucking Vecna's dick. It totally looks like that. I'm sorry. There later on, Vecna takes a whole bunch of children and uses the fucking tubes that's attached to him, and then puts it in the other children's mouths. And I'm just like, he just does it normally for the other kids. He does it so normally. He's just like, I need these kids to bring the worlds together, the abyss and everything, the real world, to bring about change in the world. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. That's what villains will do, I guess. But when it came to Will, back when Will first got captured by Vecna, they did that on purpose. Back then, Pete, when these 4 episodes came out, people were like, nah, son, that doesn't look like he's sucking Vecna's dick. Well, after episode 7 of season 5, now everybody's like, yeah, never mind, I take it back. Yeah, it does look like that was an allegory for sucking Vecna's fucking cock. The way they pull off the camera was the thing goes up to the kid's mouth, and then it zooms up to Vecna's face, and he's just like, and I'm like, you didn't do that for all the other kids that he controlled. He didn't do that. All he did was like, here you go. I'm gonna control these children. Here you go. There we go. All right, cool. I mean, obviously it's still disgusting, but when he did it to Will, they just made it look real sus. And some people were like, nah, son, it doesn't look like that. After episode 7, everybody shut the fuck up, and then now everybody's making memes about it. We'll get to that later. So basically, after the whole world has gone upside down with after season 4, the military is trying to hold down the whole area of the town. And it's weird because I think it's kind of weird that the army is fucking retarded, first of all, but also at the same time, they don't got checkpoints. They don't check on the kids. They don't do a goddamn thing. They're still trying to fight the Russians. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like they have already tried doing the whole thing where they're just like, ah, man, we're really trying to have like super soldiers or some shit to fight the Russians, and now they're doing it again. And how do you how do you go about talking about the Russians after you've just discovered an interdimensional new area that is highly dangerous and out to kill people? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It makes no sense. We need these fucking, like Elle, the one chick with the powers, like Elle, like we want more people, more soldiers like Elle. And I'm like, nigga, you just opened a portal to a deadly fucking world and you're still worried about the Russians? We'll get to that later. Episode 1 of season 5, it starts off with everybody treating Ted like shit with the whole bacon shit. Like, pretty much Ted is the laughing stock normal father, which is weird because he seems like a sweet normal like fucking father, but the mother treats him like shit. She was about to fuck like a dude that's the same age as her daughter, but she still treats her husband like shit. She was about to cheat on him. She's a fucking whore. I mean, they focus a lot on Holly, which I think that's great, but they focused on Holly, the other daughter, the younger daughter, a little too much. But she doesn't know how to act. But I mean, a lot of these characters don't know how to act because, let's be honest, a lot of these kids would not act like this when they're in danger. A lot of these kids would be like screaming their head off and running away and crying and shit. But a lot of these kids are like, ah, and then they run away. And I'm like, wow, you guys never been around kids? You serious? But it's been like that for a while. But basically, Holly is seeing a weird figure, basically kind of how kids have imaginary friends. Well, that's the same thing with Holly, and there's a whole weird thing about that. And of course, you got Steve showing up, and Robin, she owns her own radio station, trying to give off, slight information here and there between characters, so they could figure out how to go to the Upside Down and go do recon so they can find Vecna, because they don't believe he's dead, which, I mean, it sort of makes sense because, yeah, I get it. By the way, I fucking hate Robin. I think she's just literally a tool for just being gay. Yeah, I mean, how much of a fucking insult do you have to be to gay people for you to be like, listen, I'm a Christian guy. I wish people could move away from the whole gay thing, but when it comes to storytelling, could you maybe have them be a character first and be a gay maybe second or third? You know what I'm saying? I just find it odd. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with Jonathan, which I'll talk to about later, because I believe Jonathan is just on the show just to be a fucking cuck to Nancy, but we'll get to that later. I think the only 4 characters that I care about in this season: Steve, Dustin, dipshit Derek, which I kind of find kind of cool, and fucking Steve. Oh, no, Hop. I like Hop. He's been a little bit weird though, but I do like moments with Hop, because there does need to be like a man within, like, there needs to be men that are primarily talking in like this sort of whole thing, because he's an adult, he's a man, he should be, talking to these kids and be like, hey, we need to focus, we need to do all this stuff. But there's a lot of girl bossing going on here, which is really fucking weird. Dustin is really mad at himself for getting his friend Eddie killed, and Steve knows it. Like, Steve misses his friend Dustin, but that's a whole thing. Lucas is there, Mike is there. The army is still looking for Elle, which is so fucking weird because this whole town is not big. The town is not huge, and they still can't find Elle. What a stupid fucking army. I'm telling you. Anyway, Elle is trying to learn to use her powers, and she's training with Hop, and there's a whole dynamic between Hop and Elle, and I'm just like, I guess this is fine. Those two go back and forth a lot lately anyway, but I do strongly believe that Elle needs to be nicer to Hop because the motherfucker just escaped a Russian fucking prison in the last season, and he almost died by a Demogorgon. You would think that Elle would be a little bit closer to Hop after that shit. I think the chemistry between Hop and his new, you know, fling, the Will's mother, I think those two have chemistry, but Elle having a fucking attitude the whole time pisses me off. By the way, does my Millie Brown, the person that plays Elle, did she get fillers on her lips? She looks like fucking handsome Squidward. Anyway, I'm moving on from that. But there's a little trust issues between Elle and Hop, and then there's the whole thing with Steve and Jonathan still like fighting over Nancy, with this fucking weird. Why the fuck are you guys fighting over Nancy? You couldn't find prettier girls in the whole town? Nancy's like fucking, she's got jowls and bones and skin. That's all Nancy is. Jowls, her fucking right here, bones and skin. Also, I got a lot to say about Nancy, but that's for later. There's a lot of moments between characters where they try to figure things out amongst each other, and I think some of the conversations between two people is fine, but every fucking time when they try to figure out a plan, it's always like, well, what do we do? Do you got a plan? We need to think. We need to figure something out. We gotta try to find Vecna. And then somebody starts drinking a Pepsi, and they're just like, well, man, I don't know, man. I just feel like, I don't know. I'm just getting a little bit thirsty lately. Let's just think about it later. And some random fucking person, I don't know how they figure this out, but they're just like, thirst, can, fluids, I got an idea. And I'm like, what? They've been doing this for years. They've done it, so I can understand back then, some of the smarter kids like Dustin would figure it out. Now it's just anybody now. It's just a roll of the fucking dice where somebody would be like, it's like, oh man, I don't have an idea, man. Bro, but I don't know. It's just making me tired. It's so frustrating. Tired. Frustrating. Melatonin. Yo. Bed. You need a bed? And then you need to have a roof over your house to go to sleep. Vecna's up in the upside down, and I'm like, how did you? Where did that come from? Let's move on. I would talk about that all day. But anyway, I don't know. They do that all the time, and sometimes I'm just like, well, how about we do this? Well, how about we do this? Actually, I like that. I think there was one moment in this season where two people had two different ideas, and it wasn't some like light bulb in the head where they're just like, oh shit, connect the dots. Like they didn't MacGyver anything. Two people had two ideas, and they said, how about we try both of those ideas? And I was like, cool, awesome, makes sense. But there's too many moments where they're just like, and then somebody out of nowhere says that's a stupid plan, and I'm like, I believe them. There's always two separate people figuring out something out at the same time, and then there's plan when they run to each other, and then they talk just rolls off each other naturally. Yeah, yes. And then Nancy, every time when I see Nancy, I want to fucking throw up. Every time when I see Robin, I want to throw up. Every time when I see Will, I'm just like, Will, he's always fucking crying, or he's either fucking like collapsing, and I'm just like, motherfucker, get up. There's a lot of moments with Holly, but I really wish we could I wish there was less moments with Holly and more moments with the team, but I know they want to stretch this thing as long as they want. And then there's this is placed in the 80s, and for some odd reason, the army that is outposted at the town, right, is run by a woman in the army. Are you fucking serious right now? In the 80s? Are you fucking retarded? Ain't no way. There's only 2 jobs. Well, either one job, actually. There's only 2 jobs that women had back in the day, and that revolved around communication and mail. Communication, mail, letters to family. That was the kind of thing, you know, the whole letters thing. That was the main focus for women. You mean to tell me this bitch, this old hag, just came out of nowhere and is like, I'm in command of this outpost? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And I know somebody in fucking whatever Twitter is gonna be like, oh, well, it's just a TV show. That is such a fucking cop-out. That is such a fucking, like, every time when somebody wants to virtue signal or has their feelings hurt, they're just like, oh, well, that's just part of the movie. And I'm like, you know what? I want there to be a white Black Panther. Oh, you can't do that, sir. Sir, calm down. Calm down. It's just a movie. All right? Let Ryan Gosling be Black Panther. Well, that can't happen. No, hey, sir, it's just a movie, okay? God damn, calm down. But anyway, the army has a fortress in the Upside Down and also in the real world. I find that kind of fascinating. And at the same time, I find it kind of fucking stupid that they have an outpost in the Upside Down and they have an outpost in the real world, and they still can't find Elle in this whole town. We're not talking about a city here, okay? We are talking about a fucking... this is Indiana. This is just farmland everywhere. Okay, a small town. Anyway, there's a lot of moments between Hop and his girlfriend, and then Dustin gets in a fight with some people, you know, in the whole, because he's wearing the Hellfire Gala thing, you know, that sort of thing. And everything seems to be pretty much just fine overall. And then there's a lot of moments between Robin and her girlfriend, and I'm like, would you shut these 2 ugly fucking hags up? Okay, shut these 2. There's always moments for these 2 to have like, oh, we're both gay and nobody knows. And I'm like, you want to focus on this so much? You want to focus on Holly, which actually sort of kind of makes sense because we want to know what's going on the other side. But that's like relevant to the plot. When you keep on showing me moments with Robin where all she wants to talk about is being gay, it pisses me off. It pisses off a lot of people. Because they'll just be like, bro, I want to see how Lucas is doing with Max. I want to see how Steve and Dustin are doing. I want to see how the boys are doing. Hell, I want to see if Will is in contact with Vecna. And they had like 3 whole fucking moments in this whole entire series where they're just like, ugh. And then after that, there's like 4 other different, there's 3 moments of Robin being gay with her gay girlfriend, fucking Dyke. And then there's 3 other fucking moments where fucking Robin is trying to be Yoda of the gays to Will. He's like, you've merely learned the basics of the game. You must master it, harness it, and then put it in Mike's ass. And I'm like, what is she, the Yoda of gays? It's so fucking, does she know anything else besides that? Anything. You do realize that gay people do stuff besides being gay, right? You do know that, right? You do know that, right? Anyway, moving on from that. Pissed me the fuck off. There's a moment later on where Vecna finally makes his move on the first episode, where he sends a Demogorgon after Holly, and Holly's mother and father, Ted and his wife, have a spat, so they kind of separate. The wife is fucking drinking because she's a dumb fucking cheating whore, and Ted is out there like hitting golf balls outside. And am I biased? Fuck yeah, I am. This whole fucking series focused on the mother, and they really fucking hated the father. Like, I thought the father was just fine. He was just a normal dude being a dad and stuff. He said all the dad things that my dad has ever said, and I was like, yeah, that's just what dads do. The whole show, the Duffer Brothers hated fucking Ted. The funny thing is that since he doesn't get that much screen time, whoever's playing Ted, the father, is gonna get so much fucking money for doing bare minimum. I kind of wish that I had that role. You know what I mean? They treat my character like shit, but I'm making bank, and I'm barely seen on. I'm just eating snacks, outside of the stage, just watching the stage, and I'm like, I wouldn't do that. That's poor writing. But what do I know? I'm just Ted. I'm barely seen on the whole series. I fucking hate the fucking wife and shit. The poorly written. They really wanted to make the mother like a strong, independent woman this whole fucking series. It pissed me the fuck off. She was purposely useful just so that people could like her. She was like out of nowhere, she'll be like, you know how the Demogorgons are fast as fuck, and when you shoot the Demogorgons, it barely does anything. Well, funny thing is, our boy Ted tried to clock the Demogorgon with the golf club, and of course it didn't work. He got smacked up and he got slashed on the chest, but he's still alive. But he's knocked out unconscious. The mother is running around with Holly, moving Holly out of the way as she takes a bottle and breaks it. And I'm just like, she's breaking the bottle to about to stab the Demogorgon, and I'm just like thinking to myself, well, that's not gonna work, because you're gonna need to be really close to the Demogorgon in order to do any damage, and also you're not gonna do any damage because when you shoot the Demogorgon with regular bullets, it doesn't do anything. But I totally forgot this is fucking Netflix. So she goes up and stabs the Demogorgon and slashes the Demogorgon in the chest with the fucking bottle, and the Demogorgon's like, I accept it. Nice one. Strong mother. And then the Demogorgon actually tries to kill the mother, but I'm surprised that she was still alive. If they killed the mother, I'd be like, bro, you got balls. It's about time. There's too many characters in this whole and fucking entire season on season 5. I'm out here just like, bro, we need to see. This is why I kind of liked Walking Dead, because I was like, bro, your time is almost up. Walking Dead had its problems, but Walking Dead understood the assignment. Okay, all right, your time is almost up. Your time was almost fucking up. But in Stranger Things, they're just like, everybody's alive, especially the strong women. And I'm just like, oh, I fucking forgot this is fucking Netflix. Are you fucking kidding me? So the mother's still alive, covered in blood. And then Nancy and Elle, who puts on a hoodie to hide herself, but it fucking didn't work because the army now knows where Elle is. But I'm over here just trying to be like, wait, what the fuck? So the only time that they'll have cameras anywhere trying to find Elle is on the main road. Are you fucking retarded? So the army has one of those CCTV like sort of cameras that are just, you know, available and shit on the roads. And I'm just like, well, what about in the woods? Do you have cameras in the woods? No, you just have cameras on the fucking road? Nigga, has it ever occurred to you that maybe Elle is not driving? Whatever. Moving on. Anyway, Nancy is there holding her mother, like trying to make sure that she's alive. By the way, Nancy didn't give a fuck whether or not her father was alive. Her father was upstairs slashed up, but she was over there like crying about mom. He's like, she couldn't go like, no. He's like, where's daddy? Is he alive? Nope. Nobody gave a fuck. Nobody cares. But Elle goes through the portal where the Demogorgon left and took Holly, and she was going around trying to look for Holly, and she couldn't find her. And she found a trail that led to fucking Holly. And Hop is pissed because Hop wants to protect Elle, and that just makes sense. And the weird thing is that Nancy and Mike, the guy with the nose and the black hair, the weird thing is Mike cared a little bit less about his sister and his two parents, where they really focused on Nancy. Nancy had a lot of moments where she was just like, my mom, your dad, oh, my sister, don't forget your dad too. She didn't say anything about her dad. Anything at all. And then Mike shows up, and Mike is just chilling. Mike just lost his sister. His sister is gone, kidnapped by Vecna, and his two parents are gone, and he's just chilling at the hospital where his two parents are fucked up. But meanwhile, Nancy's just like, oh my god, I lost Holly and mom, and I'm just like, whatever. But there is a moment later on where the army is trying to figure out why the Demogorgon went to the house. They want to follow the Demogorgon, but Elle is being followed by the army. And there's a lot of moments between Will and his mother, which is fine. But there's a lot of moments where Will is conflicted, and then Robin just comes out and is like, I know what's wrong with your boy. We can figure this out. Yes, give me your gay son. I mean, let's figure this out. Yes, come with me, Will. Come, I will show you a world. And it doesn't start right away, but there's a lot of moments where Robin wants to get involved with Will, and I'm just like, fucking, I know where this is fucking going. It's Netflix. I know where it's going. But Will is still pissed. Not Will, but Steve is still pissed at Jonathan, and then Jonathan is pissed at Steve, and then Steve finally finds Dustin, who got beat up by the bullies, and then there's a lot of anger between those two, but it's like very short, and it doesn't take too much space, which is fine. But that was the reason why Dustin wasn't around. Hop is with Elle inside the Upside Down, trying to look for Holly, doing their best and all that stuff. And then there's a moment later on. Well, I'm okay with Steve and Dustin having a bout between each other, because there's a lot of stuff that happened in season 4 that kind of makes sense that these two would be kind of aggro towards each other. But there is a moment, like literally later on, where Nancy is talking to the doctor, and she's like, hey, I want to talk to my mother. Yeah, you can't talk to your mother because she's sedated. She got slashed up. She can't speak, and she needs to rest. Your daughter will be all right, sweetheart. You have a good day. And then Nancy's just like, well, I'm gonna go upstairs and see my mother. And he's like, I think my mom will definitely give me some information on what happened to Holly. And then she says something stupid like, there's 2 things I don't trust about a doctor that smokes and calls me sweetheart. And I'm like, shut the fuck up, bitch. Shut the fuck up. Surprise, surprise, people smoke. People are human. Hello. And an old dude calling you sweetheart, what do you think? He's just everybody that he calls sweetheart. He's old men that call like kids like sweetheart, or like is like or stuff like that. It's like, ew, he called me a sweetheart. It's like, maybe he's just old school like that, where he treats every pretty much like little girl like sweetheart. He's like, oh, don't worry, sweetheart. I mean, what are we talking about here? And so she finally goes up and goes to see her mother, who is highly sedated and needs rest and can't speak because she's slashed up around the neck. And then she's like, I need to talk to her. And I'm like, do you see your fucking mom? She is fucked up. And so they finally wake her up. She's scared. And then, you know, her, what's it called? Her RBMs or RPMs? Her heart rate was going up and accelerating. And I'm like, bro, you about to kill your mom trying to find Holly and shit. What do you, now she's awake and she's hyperventilating and adrenaline is kicking in because she's wondering, how is she alive and where is Holly? And so the only way that her mother is able to talk is by using a pen and stuff. And I'm over here thinking to myself, wait a minute, you're trying to get information on where to find Holly, and you don't even need to do that, actually, because Robin and Will have found definitive information on how to find Holly. Like, this whole pointless escapade where you're trying to wake up your mother who's you know, who needs to rest, who's all fucked up. You didn't need to do all this extra shit. It's just extra fluff because they already have information on how to find Holly through Robin and Will. And then so they finally meet up, Robin and Will and Mike and fucking Nancy, and they're both like, I know where Holly is. Yeah, Will knows because he's able to connect in through Vecna and shit. And then Nancy just pretty much shuts up because the whole it's like 2 parties are trying to do the same thing, and so one of them actually finds definitive information. Meanwhile, the other one is just like, oh yeah, you already got the information? Okay. And I'm like, then why the fuck did we waste all those minutes between you and the doctor and your mom? And I'm like, who wrote this shit? It's like, you do realize you don't need to have every character doing something, right? You don't have to have all of them do. You have so many characters that they're starting to bump into each other. You know what I'm doing? You know what I mean? It's like having so many people in your car and you don't even know who the fuck is driving. That's what it feels like. So later on, they find some news. You know, Hop and Elle are having a really interesting moment between each other. Henry, who is actually Vecna, finds Holly, and it seems like Holly is within Vecna's mind, and so that's a whole thing, which is kind of interesting. But at the same time, there's a lot of moments between Holly and everything, and Holly and the whole world. But later on, Holly finds Max. Holly finds Max within the same area that that Vecna is. So they're both in Vecna's mind right now, which is so weird because this is Vecna's mind. He couldn't find Max in his own mind. Sure. Max is in your mind and you can't find her. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. But later on, there's a whole thing between oh my god. There's so much. There's so much nothing happening. But basically, there's another Nancy moment that pissed me the fuck off, where Nancy wants to use a shotgun shell and put a tracker within the shotgun shell, so when she shoots a Demogorgon, they could find a way wherever the Demogorgon goes, they could find where it leads to Holly. And I'm thinking to myself, that's a great idea, Nancy. That's a great idea. Has it ever occurred to you that maybe using a shotgun as a tracker is not a good idea? Because I'm telling you right now, that tracker will get destroyed. So you need to use a certain type of bullet and a certain type of gun to have a tracker. And she's over here using a shotgun. She opens up a shotgun shell, and I'm over here thinking like, oh, the tracker's like kind of small. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, that doesn't make any sense, because once you shoot, the shell of the shotgun is loose, and then the beads spread. You see what I'm saying? It spreads. So you have to be within point blank range of the fucking Demogorgon. And I'm over here thinking about myself, like, why don't you make a tracking bullet within my brain, because I know enough information about guns to realize that this doesn't make any sense. There's a bunch of pellets within the shotgun shell and it spreads. Everybody knows this, right? Well, what happens when you don't get close enough to the Demogorgon and the tracker, which somehow hasn't gotten destroyed through recoil or getting hit by anything else and is still active and working and functional? What if you just fucking miss? Because it spreads. So the one bald guy that always has a fucking joke he literally asks that very question, saying like, wait, wouldn't that damage the tracker? And then Nancy's like, well, do you know it damaged the tracker? And I'm like, and he's like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, bitch, you do know. You've been in Of course it'll get destroyed. They make other characters stupid around this bitch on fucking purpose. Every fucking time that they want to have a girl boss moment, every single person around them has to be stupid at that time. But as soon as that woman leaves, everybody just all of a sudden, oh yeah, that's right, I got a brain. That is the girl bossing I fucking hate. I fucking hate Nancy. I hate Robin. I hate Nancy. There's other characters that I don't care about, but those two I can't fucking stand. I can't stand the army lady. Oh my god. Oh my god. So she somehow she shoots the shotgun shell with the tracker inside, and she shoots it. at a bag of cement. And I'm all like, okay, I guess they're testing it out to see if the tracker will function. And then she shoots it, and the tracker is not only completely intact, it is the size, the trackers is the size of a fucking small dildo. And she pulls it out of the fucking cement. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why is the tracker so huge? I thought it was smaller than that. Was it smaller than that? Let me double check before I'm losing my goddamn mind. I'm losing my goddamn. Yeah, the tracker. The tracker is fucking huge. The tracker is the tracker. That's her small fucking hand. The tracker came out of the shotgun shell. This is my cell phone. It's about that big. It's about the size of the shotgun shell. And the whole tracker is completely intact. And I'm like, Mr. Hardcore Mode, it's just a fuck you. So, Elle and Hop get into an altercation between the army, and they eliminate all the army men except one, so they can get information from the army to find out more information on where Holly is and what they're doing here. And I thought that was kind of interesting. Anything with Elle and Hop together is pretty fine. Anything with Steve and Dustin is pretty good. Anything with Jonathan and Nancy makes me want to fucking blow my brains out. And so there is a moment later on where they set up an area. They set up an area where they call for Erica, that fucking smart little black girl that's a sassy fucking evil little shit that shouldn't even be on this show, but they added her just because she's a girl. Well, they try to figure out how to they try to track down Derek, because the next target that Vecna is trying to go for is dipshit Derek. I love dipshit Derek. It's this like chubby ass fat kid, and he is a piece of shit to everyone. And I don't know, it kind of fucking makes me laugh, bro. He is the best. But anyway, they sedate the whole family, and they set up a whole trap, a really fucking quick ass trap for the Demogorgon that is trying to look for Derek. And the Demogorgon comes on by and like pretty much gets his ass whooped through all the traps that they lay. And I'm like, this is all good. This is fine. This is the Stranger Things that I know, where they all get together to fight a Demogorgon. That's fine. And then all of a sudden the Demogorgon finally gets set free, and like the Demogorgon goes inside the barn to find Derek where he's at. And here we go again. The Demogorgon again just walks and just does a whole bunch of yelling and shit right in front of Will's mother, where she's holding an axe about to hit, because Will is going crazy right now because he's seeing things, he's having visions. But there's Will, and I think I kind of get this one, because I think Will is probably trying to control the fucking Demogorgon so the Demogorgon doesn't like harm his mother. I think that's bullshit. I think that's a fucking lie, because what about the Demogorgon that tried to kill, you know, the fucking mother? You know what I'm saying? It's like there was no mind control with that Demogorgon. It's like, and it's basically what I'm saying is, every time when there's a bitch right in front of the Demogorgon, for some odd reason, the Demogorgon is just like, Jesus, take the wheel. And so this Will's mother just whacks at this Demogorgon 1, 2, 3 times, and I'm like, yo, she okay, all right, I guess this is happening now. And so they finally shoot the tracker right on the Demogorgon, and it fucking works because why not? And then they use the tracker to follow the Demogorgon, and Steve, Dustin, Jonathan, and I believe Nancy go and follow the Demogorgon where he opens up a portal. And I'm like, okay, all right, I guess this is gonna be a thing then. And it's still fucking funny. And then here's the funny part, because right now the army knows that the Demogorgons are looking for children, so they gather up all the fucking children, which is kind of funny, because why didn't they just gather the children up when they first started up their whole base and shit? That way they could be like, well, I'll know where Elle is if I have all the kids. But I don't know, there's multiple different ways of finding Elle, and the army is just fucking being retarded this whole fucking time. There's more moments between Robin and Will. Robin is teaching Will the old ways of fucking a man in the ass. Holly finds Max within fucking Henry's brain, and for some odd reason Vecna can't even tell because he's retarded for some odd reason. You guys are in my brain, but I can't find you. Actually, that's true and real. I feel ya. Bad day, I guess. I get retarded too sometimes. But the group of kids back in the real world try to find a way to save the kids by using the underground railroad shit underneath all of the town. And so they're gonna dig a hole right through the army base and try to get the kids through the whole area that way. And I'm like, I guess that's an interesting premise, I guess. Elle and Hop are still inside. Max the whole time with Holly. Max and Holly has horrible writing, because Holly can't act, and I'm sorry, I mean, she's young, she'll figure it out later, but Max can't fucking act to save her life, because Max is trying to get out of Vecna's brain, and Holly's trying to get out of Vecna's brain. And later on, while they're trying to figure out how to get out of Vecna's brain, the whole time Max is just like, I'll get you out of here, Holly. We're gonna get out of here, Holly. We're gonna get out of here. I'll tell you later. I'll tell you what Max says later, because the whole time Max is like, me and you, we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna get out of Vecna's mind. And you just hold on to that fucking information. But all the kids are being inside the base, and they're all just, gathered all together. And of course the Demogorgons are going to search for those kids, because Vecna's looking for 12 kids in total for the 6th day of November. I don't know why. I don't know why it has to be that day. I don't know why it has to be 12 children. I do not know why. Maybe I missed some information. All I know is that it's just a bunch of bullshit. There's too many moments where there's plot holes, and there's too many moments where they're trying to solve stuff. It's like they're trying to solve plot holes, but every time when they try to solve something, there's more plot holes. I'm sorry, I'm going crazy. I know. There's a moment between like Mike and Will, and they're talking about their mother, and then Robin's looking at Will like, he is beginning to understand. He sees Will looking at Mike, looking all scrumptious and shit, and I'm over here just like, bro, I thought we figured this out in season 1. I thought Mike already knew that fucking Will was gay, but they keep on that's what they do in this show. They act like the people that haven't seen this before are retarded, and we haven't noticed that certain things have happened. But every time the characters are just like, what? I didn't know he was gay. Yes, you did, bitch. We had the conversation. Not everybody knew, but some people actually knew the whole way through. You think we didn't know you were gay with that Friar Tuck ass haircut that you had in season 1? Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Okay, moving on. So basically, Dustin is talking to Jonathan, Nancy, and fucking Steve on like, what if this is one of those Duffer Brothers bullshit where somebody will say something and it just magically fucking happens. What if Vecna has a place where he keeps his energy, but he has an energy field around it to make sure that nobody touches his magic? And I'm just over here just like, you just made that shit up. You made that shit up. Yes, you did. You made that shit up. And guess what? They go to the lab and it's not quite right, but they do find something. And I'm over here just like, wait a minute. There's too many moments with the Duffer Brothers where they're just like, bro, they have something over here. I don't know if this is true. This is just, I'm just speaking out of my ass here, but what if we go to this lab and we find exhibit A? And then I'm like, bullshit, that I don't even know where you got that from. And then they get over there and then they find exhibit B. And I'm like, I don't even know how the fuck, like, they're just, it feels so rushed in this whole season. So the whole thing between Max, before I talk about Max and Holly trying to escape, there are too many moments where Max could have easily fucking left. There are too many moments where she could have literally returned back to her body a long time ago. There was a whole portal that was open and shit, and I'm like, go through the portal. He's playing the music. Your boyfriend's right through the portal, and she doesn't go through it. I'm like, what? And I'm like, whatever. Whatever. There was too many moments where I'm just like, bro, you could solve this right now. There's more moments between Robin, the Yoda of gays, and then there's moments where they try to save the kids, but the Demogorgons steal all the fucking children. And here's the funny thing. A bunch of Demogorgons get out through, like, they invade the whole entire outpost where the army is, and the Demogorgons just go to town on the militarized train army. They are unloading bullets on these Demogorgons, and these Demogorgons are moving in lightning speed. And I'm just like, you didn't do that shit when you were fighting the middle-aged women. What the fuck? There's also moments where a Demogorgon would be in the middle, and for some odd reason, the trained soldiers will shoot at the Demogorgon. Like, you know what I mean? You know, are you figuring out what I'm saying? Basically, the Demogorgon's in the middle, and there's a circle of army men, and then they shoot at the Demogorgon, and I'm over here just like, has it ever occurred to you that if you shoot straight, you're gonna shoot right through the Demogorgon, or miss and shoot one of your army men, and vice versa? And I'm over here just like, has that ever occurred to you that maybe it's not a good idea for you guys to surround the enemy with guns and then shoot at them, because you guys are going to shoot each other? But it doesn't happen because the writing is shit. It's fucking shit. So the Demogorgons, who are no longer fucking slow, no longer slow unless they run into a middle-aged woman or something like that, and they just whip the shit out of the army people. And I'm just like, see, that's what the Demogorgons are supposed to be. But when a fucking Demogorgon gets right in front of a middle-aged mother, he's just like, let's talk this through. Let's talk this through, ma'am. And I'm like, are you serious? So basically Vecna steals enough kids to try to start his whole thing where he wants to bring the Abyss and the real world together, and, you know, destruction, everything. I think it has to do with the Mind Flayer, I'm not sure, but a whole bunch of after all that shit, then we get the last 3 episodes. And the last 3 episodes before we're about to get to Christmas Eve, where we get the fucking final 2-hour fucking special of Stranger Things, Stranger Things, like the whole thing. We're not there yet, but I'll have another video for that too. But basically, all Derek, some other kids, Holly, they're all connected to Vecna's mind. They're all captured. They're all within the, like, abyss or something like that. And Henry's talking about, like, it's so weird how captured the children are compared to Holly, where all the kids are just easily eating up whatever. It's so weird because Henry's talking to these kids for the first time, saying like, ah, yes, y'all are gonna be heroes, and we need to fight the darkness because you kids are the light. And I'm over here just like waiting for one of the kids to go like, I want my mommy. None of them do that. None of them do that. All the kids are just like, yeah, I could forget about my family and just immediately follow this random guy. Absolutely. And I'm over here just like, I know children. Okay, pause. I know kids. They would freak the fuck out if they were in some unknown area with some random person away from family. It's just maybe these Duffer brothers are fucking gay and they don't have kids. Who knows? I don't fucking know. All I know is that they're rushing the writing. So the whole thing happens on episode 5, where the kids are all eating sweets, and it seems like all the kids seem like they're on fucking the Epstein files, or on the Epstein Island, except they're not being, you know, touched, well, inappropriate, you know what I mean? Bad joke. The only person that was turned gay after Vecna was Will, okay? That was the only person. All the other kids were taken, and then, you know, and they got the whole hose thing on their mouth, and then it was done. It was it. But for some odd reason, when Vecna found juicy ass Will as a kid, that was the one where he had to grunt about it. He had to make a face about it. It was so weird. He caught the 11 kids that he found, the 12 kids that he found, and he was just like, all right, that one, hook up that kid, hook up that kid to my mind, hook up all these kids to my mind. Cool. I'm gonna levitate. All right, cool. We're gonna connect. We're gonna bring this whole abyss down on the real world, onto the real world, and open up. I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what his master plan is. But when he fucking did that to Will, that one was fucking special. That was his special one. It was so fucking. Twitter was right. Everybody's saying like, nah, that didn't look weird. No, it was weird. And when Will comes out on episode 7, it just connects. It's like, yeah, so Vecna found out that I was he found out that I was gay. And I'm like, did he find you out that you were gay, or did he add gay in you? Because I can't tell anymore. I'm over here trying to figure. The way he tells people why he's gay is so fucking insulting to gay people that it's kind of fucking hilarious, because Will is talking to his fucking mother, and he's like, Vecna, he reached deep inside of my mind, and when he reached inside my mind, I saw horrible, disgusting things, and horrible, despicable, disgusting things. And he's like, well, you need to ignore that, son. Don't let Vecna change your mind. Oh no, that came from me, Mom. And I'm like, he's showing the real me. And I'm like, why the he says that. I'm not joking. He comes out and says, oh, Vecna, he showed me terrible, disgusting, horrible things, Mom. Well, that's Vecna. You need to not trust his lies, son. Actually, it came from me. Well, what is it? I'll tell you about it later when I talk about it for 5 minutes that I'm actually gay. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did you just call me fucking... you just said... I'm surprised nobody's talking about this, because I'm just like, this mother... I mean, I agree with him that it's disgusting, but I was just like, did anybody just notice he was just like, bro, he just showed me how disgusting gay is. And then he comes out and he's like, bro, I love it. Bro, I love it. Will, bro, Mike, I like you. So he was mind fucked pretty much. There's a moment later on that Steve and Dustin finally go at it between each other, because Dustin doesn't want to lose another friend, and I kind of get that. These two kind of have a little bout between each other, and that's fine. That's fine. I think that's kind of interesting. That's why I like Steve and Dustin. They have good chemistry with one another, kind of like Lucas and Max. Anytime without Max sucks. But when Lucas and Max are with each other, they're the characters are bearable. There's some characters in this show where it's like, bro, you suck alone. You need to be with this character. Not Nancy and Jonathan, though. Both of these characters fucking suck. They go in this lab. Nancy does the most dumb shit ever. When they finally find this weird dimensional sort of energy, I think they called it like exotic energy or something like that. The first thing that Nancy does is she's like, I'ma shoot it. And I'm over here just like, ain't no fucking way. This bitch, and nobody said anything. That's the thing. When the boys fuck up or they have a bad plan, every motherfucker will let that one boy know that it was a horrible plan. Hell, they had it on that same episode where Dustin, they couldn't find anything inside the lab, and everybody was blaming Dustin, or at least Steve was, where they were like, this is a stupid plan, there ain't anything here, this is dumb. Meanwhile, Nancy shoots an object that she has no idea what it is. And then it explodes, and it spreads through the entire fucking, what's it called? Through the entire fucking, what's it called? The, upside down. And a hole opens, a hole opens, through the bridge, where it's just, it's just the abyss. It's just space. And I thought that was kind of fascinating, but at the same time, I want to go back to Nancy, who was the dumb bitch that fucking shot something that she had no idea about. I'm over here just like, this is another one of those moments where we need to tell the women to sit down and just shut the fuck up. Just stop. So when Jonathan and Nancy finally get out of being unconscious, they're stuck in this whole area where it's just goop everywhere. There's just, it's like after they shot that thing, the whole lab started to melt, and now they're in this spot where they're just about to be like, it's like quicksand, and they were slowly running out of space. They were when they went down into that room, I was thinking to myself, and they even showed it too, where there was actually two doors. There was two fucking doors to get out, but they kept on going for the one door. And I'm like, are you gonna... And of course, the one door that they were trying to open up, because they were stuck in there, turns out that it's all wax in there. The other door that they haven't even tried. And so while they're still stuck there and they can't move, the two go through this whole thing where they're just like, Jonathan's too busy being a cuck and he has no fucking testosterone. He has no will to even try to make like the two of them to have an actual relationship. Maybe we're doing Jonathan a favor. I'm not sure. Nancy's being like for some odd reason, these two are slowly trying to pull away from each other, and Jonathan pulls out a ring saying, can I not marry you? And I'm like, who the fuck says that? Who the fuck says like, can I not marry you, Nancy? No, you may not marry me, Jonathan. And I'm like, what cuckery are we doing here? What the fuck? And here's the funny thing. You're gonna love this one. You're gonna love this one. When these two finally break up, I'm thinking to myself, fine, they can break up, whatever. It was fucking weird. Before the whole conversation was going to end, out of nowhere, Nancy says, Steve has better hair than you. And I'm like, do you think that's a good time? Do you think that's a good moment right now? Really? The guy's pouring his heart out and she's saying, sorry, I want to break up with you. And then at the end, you say some stupid fucking joke where it's just like, well, Steve has better hair than you. Yeah. Let's take Jonathan's fucking heart and squeeze the life out of that shit. Let's do that. I'm still trying to figure out why any of these boys are sexually attracted to Nancy, the fucking bone skin child. I'm over here just like, bro, you could push this bitch, and when she falls, it sounds like a bag of sticks. Are you you push Nancy on the ground, and it just sounds like you dropped all of your fucking brand new drumsticks. That's Nancy. Is that what you want to do? Is that what you want? You want to put a baby in that? You try to have sex with that ugly ass fucking, obviously not a kid anymore, fucking bitch. You put a baby in that, I'm telling you right now, putting your dick in that is like putting your dick inside of a tent. Okay? Just metal poles and tapestry. Okay? You want to fuck a tent, boy? You want to fuck a tent? Cause I just metal sticks everywhere and tarp, cause that's what you're gonna get. Okay? Just tarp and metal pipes. You're gonna be fucking a tent, son. All right? Anyway, turns out the second door that they didn't use, actually they could have gotten out of. Steve busts them out and then they're free to go. Meanwhile, Elle and fucking Hop are trying to get inside the base to get some information, and they wind up finding 8. And I'm over here just like, why is 8 here? 8 was from the previous season, from season 4. She's another person who was who has powers. She has illusion powers. And I'm over here just wondering why the fuck. I mean, it could have been interesting why she was there, but they finally get 8 off of there, this little ass Indian bitch, and they get her off of there because they were using her blood to try to make more soldiers. But turns out Indian blood don't fucking work. They can't make any soldiers. All the pregnant women are dying because her blood don't work. Maybe it's dirty. I wouldn't fucking know. But L's blood works. L's blood, they're able to make more fucking super telekinetic children. Her blood doesn't work. L's does. So they get out at 8, and I can tell you already, the way 8 walks, I don't trust this bitch. Okay? She's walking like this. Like one of those Oblivion fucking NPCs. And I'm like, who taught her to walk like that? You know, you can... Anyway, moving on. Everybody else is using their body motion. This bitch out here walking like those fucking robots and fucking iRobot and shit. Anyway, if you see it, you can't unsee it. I like my women like I like my chicken. A little bit of fat on the end. Not too much, but not too little. Just enough to make me grin. I like that. That's fair. That's fair. But basically, 8 talks to L where they're supposed to meet the other people. They were gonna rendezvous at this one building, but it seems like Dustin, Nancy, Johnson, and Steve are not meeting up. For some odd reason, they're just not, there's no communication between the two. But 8 talks to L, basically saying, hey, to make sure that they don't make any more soldiers like us, we should kill ourselves. And Hop does exactly what I think he would do. He's just like, bro, we just freed this bitch, and the first thing that she does is try to make you go suicidal. Ah, fuck this bitch. Fuck this bitch straight to the moon. And there's a moment later with Hop where there's a moment later where Hop is talking to Will's mother. Forgot her name, by the way. But he's saying, like, straight up, if 8 does anything to L, I'd shoot that fucking I'd shoot that kid. I'll shoot 8. I don't give a fuck. And I'm like, see, that's my boy 8. That's my boy Hop right there. That's my boy. I love Hop. He's like, bro, if 8 does anything to L, I'd smoke that kid. I don't give a fuck. I'm just like, that's a child. Respect. Anyway, there's more moments between Robin and Will. Of course, the Jedi fucking master of the gays teaching Will the ways. It's so fucking funny. Turns out there's a lot of moments where Holly actually has seen Henry, but she just never seen it. Later on there is a moment where they're trying to get Max and Holly out of Vecna's brain. And so it turns out, of course, because Will has powers now, it turns out later on, Will uses Vecna and stops Vecna from fucking trying to kill Max and Holly. He controls them. And I thought that was kind of cool that he was just like, just tell them to run. And then he tells them to run. And then I was like, and then Max and Holly run away, and Henry is slowly right behind them. And there's a moment later on where dipshit Derek stops Henry before he sees sees Max and Holly, who ran away. And then Henry's like, where are they? He's like, he's like, do you know where they went? They went to your mom. And he's like, shut the fuck up. I was like, bro, he had guts to say your mom at Vecna. And I was like, bro, I like this fat ass kid. I love him. But they finally, Lucas is trying to hurry up and go over to Max and try to find Max. Find Max, because they're trying to reach Max and Holly and get them out. And then here's the thing that I was talking about before. Max and Holly finally reach a point where they can both escape. Turns out Max at the end is just like, this is my door, so you're gonna have to find a different way to get out. And I'm like, you led this bitch. You led Holly all the way here only to tell, and she knew the whole fucking time, and was like, he's like, yeah, you listen, I know Vecna's right behind us, but you need to find your own way to get out. And I'm like, what the fuck? This petty ass bitch, why did you bring her along at all? Why? You could have gotten out your own way a long time ago. But that's a whole different story. We already talked about that. But basically, Max says another girl boss thing where it seems like a fucking podcast, where she's just like, that boy out there, Lucas, is what ties me to the real world so I can get back to my body. It's like my love for my boyfriend helps me get back home. And then Holly, the little fucking 10-year-old girl, is like, but I don't have a boyfriend. And then Max is like, you don't need a boyfriend. And I'm like, what podcast is this shit? What the fuck? and she's just like, you need something to connect with you. It can be like a thing. What about that necklace around you? Well, this necklace reminds me of like my favorite superhero whatever thing. And it's like, let that be your guide to get out. And I'm like, that's the dumbest fucking shit I ever heard, Max. And even Holly knew. Holly was like, it's just a fucking necklace, you dumb bitch. And she doesn't say that, but she basically is like, it's just a necklace. But I'm hoping on the last episode, I am really hoping on the last episode where Holly remembers her dad. I am hoping, because there's a lot of moments between Holly and her father where Ted takes care of Holly all the fucking time. I mean, he doesn't really go much anywhere. He's pretty much, he's the breadwinner, of course, at the house. This is 1987 or whatever the fuck. Of course he's the breadwinner in the house. And then the mom just drinks and fucking tries to fuck guys that are the same age as his daughter. As her daughter. But there's many moments where Holly or the mother or it's probably going to be Holly and her mother that's going to tie her back. Like, oh yeah, just think about your mom, and then she's gonna get out of Vecna's brain. Or it's gonna be her dad. I'm hoping it's her dad, but it's not gonna happen. This is Netflix, okay? It's Netflix. Netflix is like, think about your mother. And then Holly's gonna be like, I do have a dad, you know. Don't worry about your dad right now. Focus on your mom. And I'm like, I feel like that's gonna happen. On the last episode, we'll figure that shit out. But basically, she's going through hell. Holly tries to, I forgot how she got out. She got out by just thought, by just thinking, but it didn't show us exactly what she was thinking. It was so awkward. But there's a moment where Lucas, the two gay bitches, are stuck inside of the hospital, but for some odd reason, the Demogorgons that are trying to look for Max and kill Max The three Demogorgons that can't even hear the fucking music for some odd reason, even though they got sensitive hearing, they're slowly walking up to where the sound is coming from, like fucking raptors at fucking Jurassic Park. And then the mother that woke up from fucking resting in a coma and a bad fucking throat picked up giant huge fucking helium fucking tanks, somehow put them inside the fucking dryer without the Demogorgons hearing any of that, even though they got sensitive hearing. And so all the Demogorgons go to the fucking the dryer, and then they see the heat, the fucking the fuel tanks, and then it explodes, and then it kills all three of them, and then it has a whole girl boss mom music playing, and I'm like, fuck you, fuck that shit. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. And she's over here saying like, where's Holly? Where's Holly? And I'm like, where the fuck was this mom energy at? Where the hell was that? If I remember correctly, in season 3, while you were trying to fucking bang somebody the same age as your daughter, while you were away from fucking home, putting on makeup for this motherfucker, Ted was at home, you know, patting Holly because she was like a little kid, a little toddler, you know, taking care of Holly. And I'm over here like, excuse me, bitch? You want to be a mom after you were just about to you're about to have divorce papers up in this bitch? Fuck out of here. So there is the last episode. And it all just culminates to just the kids coming together and trying to figure out how to finally get to Holly, because Henry has figured out a way to... Henry has everything. Vecna has everything that he needs to have the worlds collide. I still haven't seen the Mind Flayer. I don't know where the Mind Flayer is. Maybe the Mind Flayer is going to be on the last episode. Who knows? But later on... there is a moment, because Max is finally back, but she's on a wheelchair and everybody's there. They're trying to come up together, and this is the funniest fucking shit. They're finally coming together and trying to figure out a plan on how to get up there to the abyss, this new area, which apparently is a new area now. They're trying to get up there, and this dumb bitch, Robin, and I'm so glad that this fucking happened, because basically Steve has become me. Steve is now me on the show 100% after this shit. So everybody's panicking and trying to figure out the end of the world, and for trying to save Holly and all the rest of the kids. And Robin, while they're trying to come up with a plan, Robin says like a fucking dick joke about Steve, saying, Steve knows how to get it up, don't you, Steve? And then Steve's over there like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I'm like, thank you. I paused the show and I was like, thank you. What the fuck is wrong with you? This is the last and final plan to figure out how to save the world and save the kids and stop Vecna, and this bitch is over here like, ha 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 ha, dick joke, ha ha, and I'm like, yo, shut this bitch up, please. Shut this bitch up. Dustin has a cool moment where he tries to figure things out, and then it's actually Steve that kind of figures it out, which actually kind of makes sense, because Steve isn't really the smart one, but he does know how to, like, if any other smart plan, like a really, really thought out smart plan comes out, it's not going to be Steve. Steve's plan was basically, how about we just wait it out and then fight at the right time? And I was like, actually, that is exactly what Steve would say. Steve wouldn't be coming out, putting markers on the fucking board saying, if we land at the trajectory and, you know, if we figure it out and if we create an atmosphere where, no, that's not him. He just pretty much just says, we'll wait at the proper time, which is actually a good idea. It's actually kind of interesting. While they're all gathered together 8 finally says like, I'll be with L. I'll go with you guys to the Upside Down to fight the enemy. And then Hop is looking away like, I'm about to shoot this bitch. I'm about to shoot this bitch if she fucking touches. It's so fucking hilarious. It's every time that Hop just is fucking disgusted or pissed off, it's us normal people. Every fucking time when somebody makes a stupid joke, it's a dick joke, a joke that tries to peel away from the seriousness, Hop has that face that we're making. It's like, oh man, somebody's life is on the line. It's like, how about I make a dick joke? And then Hop is just like, Jesus fucking Christ, bro. But I don't even think he was acting at that point. And then the infamous last point where pretty much Will comes out and says, you know, he's like, hey guys, in order to be Vecna, I gotta tell you my deepest, darkest secret, which makes no fucking sense. And he comes out and says like, hey guys, I don't like girls. And I'm over here and everybody's looking. It's funny because a lot of them are just looking like, we know. But for some odd reason, Jonathan's just like, Robin, Jonathan, and I think that's pretty much it. Robin and Jonathan are just like, strong and brave. Strong and brave. Strong and brave. Everybody else, the kids, even Elle with the fucking handsome Squidward looking face. Everybody else is just like. And then I heard online that this literally took 24 hours to perfect that 5-minute moment where Will comes out. And now I know why they looked like that, because it took them 24 hours to finally perfect whatever 5-minute fucking story that Will was trying to come out and be like, hey, I like girls. And then that face that they had, this show was so fucking rushed. It was so fucking no. Saying it's rushed implies that they didn't have any time and they just didn't want to do it. No, these motherfuckers, this is them. This is them. I'm not gonna do this whole thing where it's like, yeah, they were rushed, they didn't have any more time. No. You made a mistake and you were stupid. Just say it. Don't. It's trying to take accountability away from the bad writing. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh man, actually we were pressed for time. Why did it take you 24 hours for Will to do a 5-minute monologue of him talking about wanting to suck dick? Why did you do that? Why? And then I looked up and saw the Netflix sign and I was like, never mind, I figured it out. That's why everybody looked pissed. That's why everybody was just like, are we done? Are we done? Or are we good? All right, fine. Are we cool? Fine. And then Will's over here just like, Mike is over there just like, I know I can't be with you, Mike. And he's like, whoa, the fuck are you talking about? I know I can't. That is such a fucking manipulative thing to say. It's just like, I know I can't reach you, Mike. And I'm like, you do realize that there's a, well, first off, let's talk about the premise between bros, okay? Your friends, your bros, your friends, okay? Your bros will say, it's okay for you to be gay, man. Okay, cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's all good, man. We already knew that you were gay. Yeah, all right, man. Thank you. Yeah, man, it's all good. He's like, it's not my lifestyle, but if it's your lifestyle, I respect it. All right, cool. Well, actually, I like you. Man, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Yo, no. Shit, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Yo, sleep outside. That's the shit I'm fucking talking about. Because you break the fucking bro code. Is it all this hugging and like dabbing up your friends because you're bros? Cool. Awesome. You break that cycle of bros when you try to meet in an immovable force. Maybe if I keep on talking about gay shit and tell him that I like him, maybe he'll be gay like me. Nigga, that don't fucking work. That's not how this rolls. Okay? That's not how this works. And another thing, this is the fucking 80s we're talking about. Not everybody in the whole thing has to come out and say, yeah, we don't like that shit, disgusting, gross, icky. At least half of the group of people there would have 100% have, one half of the group would have said, ew, disgusting. The other half would be like, bro, I gotta go save my sister. we gotta go save the world. You do realize that Hopper just escaped a Russian facility where he was tortured to death, almost to death? I mean, I think that has a little bit more weight than yours. I don't know if that rings a bell for you. What about Elle? Elle has been fucking used as a tool for the army through a lab. I think she's gone through a certain struggle as well. I think Will's true struggle is actually him being captured and alone by Vecna. That's tragic. That's traumatic. But coming out as gay? Nigga, look around you. Everybody's struggling through something. Through the whole party of people, all of them are struggling with something. And you coming out saying, man, I got the biggest problem of them all. You can't top this one, bro. You can't top this one. I like it up the butt. And then Robin over in the corners just like, the fuck is wrong with you? And now I'm hearing about the Duffer Brothers saying, we just wanted to hurry this up so we can work at Paramount, so we could work on something else. And I'm like, do you think that this is your peak moment, Duffer Brothers? I don't know if this is going to ring a bell for you, but this is your peak moment. Every time when I see another TV show or a movie where it's just like a whole bunch of characters going like, just out of nowhere figuring stuff out and they start to have that Duffer Brothers Stranger Things charm, I'm just like, this is the Duffer Brothers, isn't it? This is the Duffer Brothers. This is another one of those moments where nobody has a plan, and then out of nowhere somebody mentions something that's not related to the mission, and then they figure out a plan. This is the Duffer Brothers all over again. It's like it's a one-trick pony with Duffer Brothers when it comes to Stranger Things. They're gonna go to somewhere else, and it's still gonna have that Stranger Things bullshit. Just like this whole thing with James Gunn. You can't take the stink of fucking Guardians of the Galaxy out of James Gunn. Even with Zack Snyder, there's some elements where you can't get Zack Snyder to stop talking about things. It's a little bit less for him, but you know what I fucking mean. I mean, Christopher Nolan, you honestly, that's a different whole entire beast. That guy actually can make different things. But these motherfuckers, the Duffer Brothers, they can't make anything else. This is the end of their road. This is the end of their career. Fuck them. And also at the very end of the show, Nancy comes out like Rambo and shoots a whole bunch of military men like for the first time. Yeah, Nancy, the girl that's built like a bag of bones, she comes out, no recoil by the way for this bitch, and she starts killing humans. And I'm over here like, I can understand you shooting demogorgons and shit, but you shooting real people? Okay, adrenaline can be temporary, but you should be throwing up or something, going like, holy shit, I just killed a person or something. No, I don't want anybody coming up to me and saying like, bro, but she has she's worried about Holly. That is not how the real world works. And every show has a sense of realism to it, especially Stranger Things. Especially Stranger Things. Because you can't just come out, you can't go from journalist to fucking Rambo and have no tension there where you're just like, oh shit, I just killed something. Oh man, I used a gun for the first time. Oh my god, I just killed somebody. Oh man, their family or something like that. No adrenaline pumping, no nothing. And also at the same time, for some odd reason, the military can't shoot. It's you made the military turn into stormtroopers. She was surrounded, she was on top of a fucking truck shooting people with an it's an M4, an M15, it's an I think it's an M15. No, two new. An M4, thank God. Woo! I know my guns. With an M4, no, wait, an M4 carbine. Yep. Yeah. I know my guns. Yes. See, I know my shit. It was an M4 carbine, and she was shooting on top of a truck, and then all the other soldiers were getting knocked down left and right by Nancy, and all the soldiers were like, what? Oh no. And then as soon as they're about to leave and go inside the Upside Down with the massive truck, Elle does a long look at the fucking military woman that shouldn't be in the fucking military, and I'm over here thinking to myself, why doesn't Elle just break her neck? Too many plot holes. Nothing makes sense. The writers don't care. And at the same time, the writers suck. I'm so fucking done. After the last episode, I am so fucking done. How long did I talk about this? For an hour and 44 minutes? Or 40 minutes, something like that. I'm done. I love these rants. All right, that's it. We're done.